Have you ever been told that you are too sensitive? Like your emotions were inconvenient? That your reaction was too big, too dramatic, too much? Maybe you've always cried a little easier than most. Not because you're weak, but because you feel the world deeply. You notice what others miss. The tension in a room. Subtle shift in a voice when something isn't quite right. And maybe, like so many of us, you started to wonder if something was wrong with you. Why you couldn't just let things go. Why you had to feel everything so intensely. But what if your sensitivity wasn't a flaw? What if it was a kind of intelligence in emotional form? What if the thing that you've spent your whole life apologizing for is actually your superpower? Today, we are going to explore what it really means to be a highly sensitive person and why being sensitive is not just okay, it's extraordinary. This episode is the sequel. If you've been with me since the beginning, you might have seen that first video, Were You the Sensitive One? And this video struck a nerve with a lot of people because it gave people a metaphor that finally made sense. That maybe you weren't the broken one. Maybe you were just the one who noticed the gas leak. The one who sounded the alarm while everyone kept saying, "What are you so upset about?" Because I'm the canary in the coal mine. Today, we are going to go a little bit deeper because there's a name for this emotional radar system, a real research-backed reason you feel things so deeply. And it's called the highly sensitive person trait, or HSP. It was first identified by psychologist Dr. Elaine Aron, and it's believed to show up in about 20% of our population. That's 1 in 5 people. And yet, most of us don't hear about it until we are adults, until we are already carrying that shame for how deeply that we feel. Until then, we've been labeled overly emotional, too intense, difficult, high maintenance. Until then, we've internalized the idea that if we aren't laughing everything off or staying quiet to keep the peace, then we are being too much. But here's the truth. Being a highly sensitive person doesn't mean that we are broken. It doesn't mean that we're fragile. It means our nervous system processes the world more deeply, more thoroughly, and yes, more emotionally than the average person. That's not a defect. It's a trait, a temperament, a wiring style. When you begin to understand that, you stop seeing your sensitivity as a burden and start seeing it for what it really is, a survival tool, a creative gift, a form of emotional intelligence the world is just starting to value. Let's define what sensitivity actually looks like when it's a natural trait. Dr. Elaine Aron developed a powerful framework to explain it. The acronym DOES, D-O-E-S, stands for depth of processing, overstimulation, emotional responsiveness, empathy, and sensitivity. So let's break it down. E, depth of processing. HSPs don't just react, they reflect. We analyze, connect dots, and internalize meaning. It's why we can be such deep thinkers, creators, and advisors. Our minds are always turning things over like river stones. Insightful, Exhausting? Also yes. O is for overstimulation. Because we process so deeply, we hit our sensory limits faster. Loud environments, big crowds, too many inputs, and we're like, nope, I'm done. It's not weakness, it's a warning light. Your nervous system is saying, this is too much, too fast, stop. E, emotional responsiveness and empathy. We don't just feel our own feelings, we feel yours too. HSPs are wired with heightened emotional responsiveness. Ever cried during someone else's story or felt tension in a room before there's even a word spoken? That is empathy in high depth. S, sensitivity. We catch what others miss. A slight change in tone, that flicker in someone's eyes. We notice micro signals that others overlook, and that's powerful. Together, these 4 traits describe the HSP experience. Not fragile, not dramatic, just deeply attuned. Let's talk about something that confuses a lot of us. The overlap between being a highly sensitive person and being someone who has experienced trauma. Because on the surface, they look very similar. Emotional intensity, difficulty with conflict, a tendency to shut down or spiral when overstimulated, feeling like you're too much or not enough all at once. Sound familiar? Here's why this matters. Sensitivity and trauma are not the same thing. Sensitivity is part of your temperament, your natural wiring. Trauma-based reactivity is something that your nervous system learned to do in order to protect you. Most HSPs who grew up in dysfunctional, chaotic, or emotionally unsafe environments carry both. You may have always been sensitive, but your environment didn't give you the tools to care for that sensitivity. So it adapted, it coped, it protected. What does this look like? It looks like hypervigilance, people-pleasing, dissociation, feeling everything or nothing, a constant fear of being too much. But here's the key. When your reactions are trauma-based, you need safety, soothing, and support. When your sensitivity is trait-based, you need space, understanding, and honoring your limits. Learning to tell the difference is how you stop pathologizing yourself and start healing. Sometimes we think that we are broken because we get overwhelmed easily, but maybe we're not broken. Maybe we're just overstimulated. Maybe we're tired of holding emotions that aren't ours. Maybe we've spent years being told to get over it, when our nervous system was actually begging us to listen. Understanding the why behind your sensitivity is powerful because it gives you the freedom to respond, not just react. It lets you show up with compassion for your inner world. And it helps you gently unhook from the shame that you never should have been carrying in the first place. You don't need to fix your sensitivity. You just need to support it. For so long, many of us have treated our sensitivity like a shameful secret, like something to hide, something to fix. But what if it was never the problem? What if your sensitivity was a message, one the world didn't know how to read? Let's flip that script. Sensitivity isn't a weakness. It's awareness. It's the ability to feel what others overlook, to sense those shifts, those subtleties, the unspoken. HSPs are often the first to pick up on tension in a room. The ones who sense that someone's smile doesn't quite reach their eyes. The ones who ask, "Are you okay?" when everyone else is keeping it surface. That's not drama, that's data. And in workplaces, families, friendships, and communities, that emotional data matters. It makes you a better leader, a better listener, a better human. Sensitivity isn't about being fragile. It's about being finely tuned. And yes, it could feel like too much when the volume's always cranked up. You get it. But with the right tools, it becomes a compass, a superpower. In a world that often celebrates loudness over listening, numbness over nuance, urgency over intuition, being someone who feels is radical and powerful. Think of it like this. Firefighters aren't brave because they don't feel fear. They're brave because they move through it thoughtfully, intuitively. They listen for the creak in the floorboards, sense when something's off, read the space before rushing in. That's what HSPs do every day. We don't just feel deeply, we understand deeply. In a world so desperate for genuine connection and care, that kind of perception isn't just valuable, it's essential. So the next time someone tells you that you're too sensitive, smile. And remember, you're not fragile. You're just paying attention. That, my friend, is strength. Now that we've made space for the why, let's talk about the how. What do you actually do when your system feels overwhelmed? When you've absorbed too much? When you're overstimulated, undersupported, or on the brink of a burnout? There are 6 real-life tools, grounded, gentle, and HSP approved. Number 1, nervous system check-ins. Start asking yourself throughout the day, am I regulated? Not, am I being productive? Or am I keeping up? But how's my nervous system doing? This micro-awareness creates space to soothe before you spiral. Number 2, decompression time. After peopling, whether it's a work meeting, family dinner, or brunch with a friend, you need buffer time. Quiet. Alone. No expectations. You're not antisocial. You are recovering. Number 3, sensory comfort rituals. Soft lighting, weighted blankets, warm drinks, silence. These are not luxuries for HSPs. They are our medicine. Create an environment that supports your sensitivity rather than fighting it. Number 4, emotional boundaries. Before you absorb someone else's energy, ask, is this mine? What's mine to carry today? You can be compassionate without being a sponge. You can care without collapsing. Number 5, joy anchors. Find the things that restore you. A favorite playlist, sunlight on your face, sound of birds, a walk under trees. Your system doesn't just need less stress, it needs more beauty. Number 6, make peace with your bandwidth. You are not made to operate at full speed all the time. Give yourself permission to decline, delay, or say, not today. Your limits are not a flaw. They are your nervous system's built-in wisdom. If today's episode opened something up for you, if you felt named, seen, or validated, please know you are not alone. There is an entire world of research, reflection, and community waiting to support you. Here are a few trusted places where you can begin. Watch on Netflix. There's a documentary called Sensitive, The Untold Story. Watching it feels like receiving permission to be who you are without apology. Read The Highly Sensitive Person by Dr. Elaine Aron. This is the foundational book for understanding the HSP trait. If you've ever felt like you were too much, this book will give you a new frame. Some other books to consider are Sensitive is the New Strong, The Empath's Survival Guide, Wyatt by Susan Cain. These resources won't make you less sensitive, but they're going to help you understand your sensitivity, honor it, and live in alignment with it. You don't need to get tougher. You need tools, language, community. Because once you start walking in your truth as an HSP, you stop apologizing for your sensitivity. You start building a life that respects it. You were just never given the right mirror. Not one that showed you that your softness is a strength. Not one that reflected your empathy as wisdom. Not one that honored the way that your body said, this doesn't feel right, when everyone else was pretending it was fine. If that's you, just want you to know you are not broken. You are not fragile. You are finely tuned. And now you get to stop apologizing for it. You don't have to shrink. You don't have to toughen up to be taken seriously. You don't have to become numb to be respected. You were never meant to thrive in a world that rewards emotional flatness and speed. You were meant to bring color and warmth, compassion. You were meant to notice, to name what hurts, to feel it all. Before we go, I want to remind you, like I always do, I'm not a licensed therapist. I'm just someone who has spent a lot of years in the healing space. So if you're struggling, please reach out for support, whether it's going to be therapy, support groups, books, podcasts, or a trusted community. You don't have to do this alone. And remember, your nervous system is not a flaw. It is a compass. And you're not too sensitive. You are beautifully attuned. You're not broken. You're a canary.